What are your three strongest scientific evidences for a spherical Earth? I don't want to say round because a flat Earth can argue it's round as well. So, what about a spherical Earth?
One that I've experienced many times is a lunar eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
In a lunar eclipse, the Earth is directly between the moon and the sun, and therefore the Earth casts its shadow on the moon. And if the Earth were a flat disk, then depending on the angle, it would cast either an ellipse. It could be a circle, but only at midnight if the moon is directly above you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only time it could cast a circle. Other times it would be either an ellipse or a straight line, right? It would just cast a line on the moon if it's flat. And I got to experience a lunar eclipse that when I was in Boulder, Colorado, that happened at sunset. So the sun's setting in the west and the moon is rising in the east.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is there any objection to the idea that I'm in between them? No, because I can see them both. I can see the sun over there. I can see the moon over there. I'm in between them. I'm on the Earth, and the Earth is casting its shadow on the moon, and the shadow it casts is a circle. And if you think about it, I'm on, I'm here, and if the Earth's flat this way, that would be one of those times where it casts a straight line on the moon, and it doesn't. It casts a circle on the moon. Whenever, no matter what the orientation of the moon and the sun are, if the Earth's in between them, the shadow it casts is always a circle. And Aristotle noted that. I think maybe even Pythagoras probably recognized that. But that was one of the earlier evidences that the Earth is round. I think that's very compelling. I've seen it. I've seen the shadow of my planet on the moon. It's round. That's pretty neat. Other evidences, the way the stars are positioned. I've had the opportunity to live at different latitudes in my life. I lived in Boulder, Colorado for a while. I lived in Texas for a while, Dallas, Texas. And the elevation of the stars changes. And that would only make sense on a round planet. The height of the North Star above the horizon is mathematically given by your latitude on the Earth. In fact, it matches your latitude on the Earth. The altitude of the North Star above the horizon is equal to your latitude on Earth, which means south of the equator, you can't see the North Star.
Right.
And that would not work on a flat Earth. On a flat Earth, you should be able to see the North Star everywhere. And you say, well, the reason it looks different heights is because it's actually very close to the Earth. And so if you're farther away, it looks lower. Okay, but there's a different mathematical relationship there. And I actually wrote an article on this on our website at biblicalscienceinstitute.com. And I gave the equation. Here's the equation for the altitude of the North Star if the Earth's flat. And here's the equation for the altitude of the North Star if it's round. Go out and test it. Go out and measure how high up is the North Star.
Right.
Of course, you'll find that it's consistent with a round Earth and not a flat Earth. And then, so those are two. What would be a third? I guess the fact that sunrise occurs at a different universal time, depending on your location. So I can see the sunset or the sunrise, and I can, I can call up my friend, and the sun isn't visible to him yet. And that wouldn't make sense except on a round Earth. The idea that sunrise occurs at a different time and sunset occurs at a different universal time for different people only makes sense on a round Earth.